Hey brothers, what's going on? JK, your brother in this struggle here. I'd like to talk briefly about techniques, tools, and strategies versus principles. If you sometimes find yourself frustrated at your perceived lack of progress in the program, you tell yourself or you notice that you've been using the tools, you've been applying the techniques, yet you don't seem to be making progress, or you actually are slipping, you're actually not making progress, which does happen. One thing I'd like you to look at before you even post in the group, right? Because we sometimes get these posts where gentlemen will say, well, I applied everything you said, JK. I did everything that's in the modules. I used the tools as described, yet nothing happened. It's understanding that it is not the techniques and the tools and the strategies that are going to help you make progress in this program. Well, they're going to help, but they're not going to be the game changer. The game changer is going to be understanding the principles behind them. If you use the tools without understanding the principles, what's going to happen is earlier on, you might experience this period of just positive change, where you're just like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that the masturbation checklist could do this. Oh wow, the relapse prevention checklist really did warn me that a relapse was imminent in my life. And that's good. However, that's going to fade away. You're going to get tired of using the tools. You're going to get bored. You're going to have very strong urges that take precedence over it. The novelty of joining the program and using the tools is going to wear off. And so when you understand the principles, why those tools actually exist, it becomes so much easier to use them. Let's use an example. If you understand the principle of, let's say, compounding, like compound interest when it comes to investing, right? You understand the importance of saving money. So because you understand the principle of that, you do it. But an individual who doesn't understand that concept has no incentive to truly save their money. They have no incentive to invest because they don't get the principle. So you also have to get the principles. And some of the common principles I mentioned when I say things like slips are data, if you were to take a look at the masturbation checklist and you found like, oh my goodness, I've been edging, right? I've been kind of just looking for material that would stimulate me in a sexual manner. And you decide you're going to fill out the masturbation checklist because you don't want to relapse. You are applying the principle of slips are data, okay? Admittedly, that's not the most direct way that you could apply it. You would apply it by, if you actually slipped and you reminded yourself that slips are data, then you don't feel negative about it. But using the masturbation checklist example, you understand that all of this is information. You're just collecting information and making adjustments as you move forward. When we talk about the principle of working with the brain instead of against the brain, that's where you understand, okay, like this is the reason why willpower is only going to take me so far, right? This is the reason why I can't fight against my brain. This is why the dialogue tool is being used. When you're asked, well, why haven't you been using the dialogue tool? You're like, oh man, I just forget, or I feel like I don't need to use it. I don't think you're lazy. I don't think it's because you don't want to. In many cases, I don't think you're even apathetic. Consider the possibility that you just don't really understand the principle behind it. You're like, yeah, it's strange to be talking to myself, but what if I said that if you work against your brain, you're not going to win, because it's the very same brain, which is rewired towards addictive behavior, that you are trying to challenge. It is as cunning and it is as smart as you are. It's the same brain. It's nothing separate from you. So we have to teach you how to separate that part of your brain that is wired to act out. Excuse me, guys, I'm on the highway, so that's why I'm a little bit wary of my driving. But that's why we've taught you to separate that part of you that is triggered. So when your entire nervous system is flooded with the neurochemicals that are going to lead to a slip, you as a human being, you have the ability to think about your thinking. So you have the ability to detach and observe those neurochemicals, not individually, but you have the ability to do so as a personality. And so the principle being applied there is, work with your brain instead of against it. So have a conversation with the neurochemicals and the hormones and your aroused self, which has been made into a personality, and work with it. Have the conversation. Well, why are you doing this? Right? And the personality, whatever you've named it, says, I'm frustrated and I'm stressed and there's no other way to release. You know you're going to slip anyway. And you're like, but how do you think we're going to feel after this? Yeah, you're going to feel horrible. Is it going to be worth it to have that brain fog and that lethargy and that disappointment? Is it worth it for that moment of pleasure? Nah, not really. Not really. So do you think we have what it takes to do this? Can we deal with this at this very moment? Yeah, we can. All right? And so you've worked with your brain instead of working against it. I hope that makes sense. My point with all of this is understand the principles behind using the tools. It's very easy to show up and get excited about the tools and the system. System works. Without the principles, it really isn't going to be effective. All right? So that's my message for you guys today. If you have any questions about it, need clarification on anything, go ahead and ask me in the comment section below. Have a great day.